Welcome back, my friends, to TFT Hyperroll with Artark as we enter the final weekend before Set 9 is released on Wednesday, June 14th. Graphic, like, comment, subscribe. This weekend we will be doing Set 9, presuming the PvE is up, but it has been pretty reliable. Unfortunately, there's no hyperroll yet. We'll talk about that next week and how it impacts everything going forward. But for now, let's get started. So at this point in the season, we're mostly doing fun builds, and when I get handed 3 Star Guardians right off the bat, then a portable forge that I can use in so many different ways, although I was hoping for a Mana Zane. But a frontline item is never going to hurt, especially in a Star Guardian build, since you don't necessarily have the strongest frontline. Star Guardian has been one of those builds that I go to often if I'm in a bad mood and I just want to play something fun. This is a build I like to go to because it just seems like a bright, happy build, and it also frustrates opponents because they just don't see it coming in quite the way it hits. The weakness for Star Guardian with me has always been the front line, because your frontline champs are essentially Rell and Nilah, but Nilah is really squishy unless you itemize her specifically to be a tank, but that doesn't necessarily take advantage of her ability. So my goal is going to be bringing in an additional defender so I can tick defender for Rell, which will give her a little bit of tankiness. I will also try to get as many Giant's Belts as possible to put on her along with the Anima Visage so she can be a reliable tank up front that will make room for the backline to do the destruction it's capable of doing. Item choice here, this should be fairly obvious. We're going to go ahead and grab the BF sword to go with the tier. That will make a Spear of Sojin, which is going to go on our item holder, Lux, and hopefully transferred over to Neeko a little bit later. And we will hyperdrive through some of these fights because they take a long time now that the front line has a little bit of tank in it. Lux is able to hold up, but 3 is not an optimal place for Star Guardians. You'd rather have 4 for the more mana generation so you can cast more often, and we end up going down to the beginning of an Animaniacs team. It's time for our second Augment and Celestial Blessing. We will miss you in Set 9, although there are things that are very, very similar. We're going to go ahead and make the Hextech Gunblade on Lux. Now that we have an additional Lux, we know that we can bring in Neeko once we find her, hopefully early. Getting up to the 4 Star Guardians is key because that will get you a lot more mana, so you're going to be able to do a lot more damage, especially with champions like Kai'Sa, who get ramping attack speed as she casts, so the faster she's casting, the faster she's hitting, and the more damage she's doing. I was originally going to bring in Morgana and try to give her a static shiv, but when presented with Aurelion Sol, I was under very strict orders that Aurelion Sol had to try to become part of the team because a soul is love, a soul is life. Yes, best kind. I saw the comment. But all joking aside, Aurelion Sol can add a lot to the team, much better though at 2 stars when he's got more power. And I apologize to Best Kind in advance because I'm not going to take the specific advice that was asked of me a little bit later in the match. But Aurelion Sol can tilt things. As you can see, he can get into the backline, set people on fire, and that can weaken them and allow you to win. And why I'm apologizing to Best Kind is I'm about to pass up the Aurelion Sol Augment because I am looking for easy being green. I want Neeko in this for the additional Star Guardian and also the additional power you can get from the Spear of Sojin. This is going to make her insanely powerful. We can give Aurelion Sol the Spear of Sojin so that he can cast more often, so hopefully that's good enough. We're going to go ahead and continue to tank up Rell, so now she's got lots of Warmogs, and then Spear of Sojins for everyone in the backline. And although we have a lot of power, I suspect Aurelion Sol is a little upset at me for not taking the Aurelion Sol Augment, because I really think we're winning this one, but it's left to just Aurelion Sol, who's like, no, not gonna finish it for you. But we made up quick, Gary gave us a 2-star Aurelian Soul, so now we have some real power, and another Misfortune who's going to try to wave clear the entire team, but this time we have enough to get through it. So we have a couple of item choices, nothing really fantastic here. I can go ahead and grab the Giant Slayer for Aurelian Soul just to get that additional damage. I'm hoping for AP items, but they're just not in here right now. So we're going to go ahead and grab the Sunfire Cape for Ekko, since that will set a lot of people on fire in the back. Now that does duplicate a little bit what Aurelian Soul already does, but this will likely get more people. We have a champion duplicator, so we can now bring Neeko up to 2 stars, and we're ready to go. We run into an underground team with a nonsensically tanky front line, and you can see that getting the back down is fairly easy. The front, on the other hand, yeah, they're just going to hang in there for a long time. Luckily, the amount of debuffs we have allows us to get through them. And we're back against that LeBlanc 3-star gold with some fantastic items that tore through us before, but this time, again, debuffs helped, and we are able to get through her and into the top 4. Off the carousel, we picked up a mascot emblem and a tome of traits, which ended up having the Star Guardian emblem in it. We can now add that emblem onto NuNu, bring in Syndra. That will bring us to the 8-star Guardian, and NuNu, the more mana he has, the larger his balls. We're on to our final item choice, and cannot resist the Static Shiv here, as that will reduce the magic resist of the opposing team, and since we're mostly magic damage, that's going to make a huge difference. The goal also is to load our bench with 5 cost units, so Syndra has something to fling in. The set 9 equivalent to Syndra is sometimes Rise, and the reason I say sometimes Rise is because Rise doesn't always have that power. It depends what area he's in, what portal you take in the beginning. Anyway, as you can see in this fight, we have a Misfortune with a Manazane, which would be entirely deadly if she was more than 1 star, but luckily we got through her. Now this team is incredibly strong with admins and duelists and a 3-star gold LeBlanc, but NuNu is just wreaking havoc, and our Syndra flings in an Urgot, which gets off a critical ult that allows us to knock the LeBlanc out, and it's down to a 1v1 against what I will call the Super Animaniacs, because it is combining supers with Anima Squad, and the Misfortune is now a 2-star. I'm spreading everyone out as much as I can. I need to clump them in some case because I'm using the Chalice of Power, but I'm hoping Syndra can fling something in that will disrupt Misfortune, and NuNu will also roll those giant balls just where he needs to. He gets a lot done, but not quite enough, but it is Neeko who is able to get the final word in, and it's GG for everyone. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll be doing lives this weekend with set 9, and then our final 2 videos from 8.5 Monday and Tuesday. As always, have an absolutely awesome day.